Welcome to the Service to Syndication podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, capital raisers in the world who have worn the uniform of this great country, those who provide services to our men and women in uniform, and other service-oriented professionals to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer your dreams and goals in real estate and to use this wealth creation vehicle so you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of generosity and prosperity. If what you desire is time, lifestyle, and financial freedom, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, the knowledge, experience, skills, so you can go out and crush it in whatever real estate asset class you desire. So grab a pencil and paper, sit back, and enjoy the ride on the Service to Syndication podcast. Hello, my servicemen and women and other service providers. Welcome to another episode of the Service to Syndication Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Cedric Marlow. I am a U.S. Navy vet. Here on the Service to Syndication Real Estate Podcast, we interview the most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and capital raisers in the world, where most have donned the uniforms of our great country. We aim to provide the tool sets, the mindsets, and skill sets for you to achieve your personal and business goals while using real estate as a wealth creation vehicle to help you live a more successful, happy, and fun-filled life. I am super excited today because I have with me Miss Yvette Jones Swanson, who is a top-notch realtor as well as veterans advisor. Please, before I properly introduce our exciting guest to you, please, if you get some value out of this interview, if you get some type of insight, mindset shift, if you learn a new skill, receive inspiration or information or motivation to go out and make some progress in your life, please share this episode with some of your friends. Send it to someone you know who might be or could be interested in real estate. Share it on your social media and post it on your wall. Share it in your stories. Help us spread our message while you help others. Again, everyone, I have with me Miss Yvette Jones Swanson. She is a trailblazer in the realm of real estate, particularly for veterans. With her certifications in AI, she is at the forefront of leveraging technology to enhance the educational experience for veterans and realtors alike. As an Army veteran and a dedicated realtor, she embodies a unique blend of personal experience and professional expertise. Yvette's journey has been shaped by her own encounters with homelessness, which has fueled her commitment to empowering fellow veterans. Her qualifications has positioned her as a knowledgeable advocate for military relocation, first-time home buying, and real estate investing. Since 2006, Yvette has dedicated her efforts to educating veterans about the path to home ownership, successfully leading HUD-VASH participants towards becoming proud homeowners. As a full-time broker since 2011, she has transformed the lives of countless veterans, guiding them from the hardships of homelessness to secure and stable living conditions. Through her organization, Vet Mentors LLC, Yvette continues to provide essential education and support, helping veterans navigate the complexities of real estate transactions. All right, Yvette, first and foremost, welcome. And secondly, I like to ask my guests to please walk us through your real estate journey in 75 seconds or less, and then we'll start to unpack a lot of that.
I became a homeless female veteran with no resources due to domestic violence in my own house. When I found my way out, digging through the red tape of everything, I became a realtor and found the homeless veterans community and started housing homeless veterans from homeless to home ownership. Over 5,000 homeless veterans have been housed under my education and tutelage.
Wow. That is tremendous. 5,000 veterans, over 5,000 veterans. And I tell you, with me being a fellow veteran, it warms my heart to see people who are reaching out to my fellow veterans to get them to be housed versus being unhoused citizens in this country?
Oh, that's 75 seconds. It was under 75 seconds, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I had to frame it.
No issues. All right, Yvette. So you have such a powerful story, rooted in personal experience. Can you take us back to what inspired your journey into real estate, particularly serving veterans?
Oh, wow. So let's go to the first question. What inspired my interest in real estate?
Yes.
I grew up in public housing, so I had no idea that there was a thing that a person can buy a house. Even though I had been to people's houses, I didn't know how that worked. Um, I did a study on the projects, on the CHA housing, Chicago Housing Authority, where I grew up, and I found that these are some sturdy buildings, sturdy row houses, and I wanted to know the history of how they were built, why they were built. So I did that in my associate's degree courses. And from there, I got married and was in a domestic violent marriage and found myself homeless a lot because I was running away for safety and went to the VA and had no services. So when I finally got a job at the city of Chicago, this is very important to this journey because all of this plays a role to how I became a realtor. I was put over the SROs, that single room occupancies. And these were over 200 buildings in the city of Chicago. And I was the lead of a task force of building professionals, the fire department, the police department, because we always had to have an escort. Of course, why I didn't know, because these were just people living and surviving in these single rooms, 350 to 500 square feet. Okay. And I never knew that. And I'm thinking, as a homeless veteran running away, I could have afforded $350 or $500. I would have worked before school and after school and did everything I could to afford to be away from that domestic violent situation. So I got to see all of these beautiful buildings in the city of Chicago and how homeless people lived and how people just lived in places. A friend of mine told me, he said, Yvette, I want to introduce you to someone, the owner of the building where I lived when I became a homeless veteran in a studio apartment. He introduced me to the owner of that building. Like, wow, I'm meeting somebody who actually owns this commercial real estate. I didn't even know the name of it back then. There was a laundromat on the first floor. There were storefronts on the first floor. There were like 60 apartments in this building, right? I meet him and he sits me down and he tells me, Yvette, you would be a great realtor. Cedric, I didn't know what a realtor was. I'm in my 20s. Why did I know? Who told me to buy a house?
Right.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, what do I need to do? Because what you're telling me, based on what I have been through, not a lot of that stuff, but being homeless and moving into his building and working for the city of Chicago and licensing where he hired me to work on his licenses, on his renewals. You see the connection?
Yes.
So I said, how do I get that education? I already have a bachelor's degree. How do I get that education? So Chicago Association of Realtors. And guess what? I could walk there from my job working at the city of Chicago. On a nice summer day for 6 months long was the classes, and I would walk on occasion. But I would catch one bus and I would be right there. You and I'm thinking, but it took me 4 times. I took the class 4 times because I could never pass the state exam. So I'm like, look, I need to learn more of this. That wasn't enough. So I went back 4 times to take that class. I took the state exam. Was it? No, I took the class. Yeah, I took the state exam each time,
Okay.
and finally I passed.
Wow. Yeah. You know, that's a lot of people it takes not everybody gets it the first time around. So, it's nothing that I haven't heard before, taking that realtor exam and people not making it on the first time. So,
Yeah,
but you were able to each time you were able to soak up more information that you had to continue taking that class and going back. So that just
exactly.
helped out you in the long run. So, Yvette, you've
That
been
was part one.
part one.
That was you had a two-part question.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So all of that. So I became a realtor, and I was still learning because it was still very new.
Okay.
I didn't know anything. I'm looking at houses, I'm looking at condos, I'm looking at all this beautiful, but I was never fulfilled in the people who I was serving.
Mm,
So when I quit the city and started working for a real estate company as an operations manager, and I got to see more and learn more real estate. And then I got to learn how rentals worked. Very key to this story, right? So I left that job and I became a leasing agent for another company. And I loved it. I loved it. I made a lot of money. Wasn't still serving the people who, I knew they could afford it. There was nothing wrong with these people, nothing wrong. I moved to the South Side, and that's when I was asked to come and take a look at managing a property. And it turned out to be 633 units in total in the inner city. Some places people don't want to move there. The ones who I moved from the north side, they would not dare come. Whoa, watch your back. And I started meeting seniors who were homeless. My first encounter were emancipated youth who were never adopted by their foster parents. And I'm like, oh, baby. So I got commissions because their rent was paid by the organization that they came from. Then
okay.
I started meeting seniors in wheelchairs. I'm like, what the heck? And they had Social Security. Well, all your Social Security can't afford this place. So who sent you to me? Another organization that received money. So I started housing them. And then one day I met a veteran from that organization in a wheelchair. That's where it all started. A veteran in a wheelchair from Access Living right here in Chicago. And I housed him. And I'm like, there must be more of you. And maybe 3 years later, HUD Vash just came and just excited the world. Well, us here in our world. And that's when all of these veterans just started pouring down. All of these homeless veterans. I knew how to house them because I worked in residential real estate. I knew the paperwork. Now I get to know the agency, Section 8. I'm like, this is manna from heaven as a realtor. And that's how it all began.
Okay. All right. So you've been active in the space since 2006. What changes have you seen in veteran housing and real estate access over those years?
Ah, active since, oh, it's the same.
Okay.
It's exactly the same. We still have homeless veterans. We
Hmm.
still have veterans who don't know how to access their resources to get housed. And the veterans who do have access to the resources to get housed, now we're working with these investors and these property owners who are like, a homeless veteran? Why do I want to house a homeless veteran? They're going to come and do the wildest things. That's a no. So that's where there's the lack of education. Okay, so that's where I come in. But it has been the same. It's the lack of resources or the knowledge to know where to access those resources and the lack of education on the investor side because they don't, if I speak to an investor about a homeless veteran, the first thing that investor, where they going to get the money from? Where's the money coming from? It's a business. So now I get over that hurdle. Oh, I see the lights. Okay. I have one owner who had 400 units. He gave them all to me. And
Okay.
this is all in my books. You can read the letters. And now they're educated. Now they know that this is guaranteed funds every month. That's the first hurdle. I'm going to stop it right there.
Okay. So is that the biggest misconception that you see is that, oh no, they're going to come in, they're going to, like you say, do the wildest things to my property? Or are there other misconceptions that you've had to educate owners on?
Yes, the finances, where the money's coming from, and the ease of working with me, working through that red tape. I
Okay.
even had one owner tell me that, and he became one of my best investors. And his letter reads, and we're friends today. Because the first when I spoke to him and introduced this to him, because I rode around the city and I took numbers down off of buildings when I first got started, when all of these veterans started coming, I'm like, I don't have enough units. I
Okay.
need more apartments, more condos, more houses. So I drove and wrote numbers down. And at night, I'm making phone calls. During an hour of the day, I'm making phone calls. I'm setting up meetings with these owners on the building and I'm educating them. Some of them said flat out no. Well, listen, I understand it's a no right now, but if you ever change your mind, feel free to give me a call. And I will keep you updated on how things are going in the community too. And I did that. And they're like, you did what? You housed how many? Yvette, can we meet again?
Absolutely. And you can see how that one, I like your persistence in educating them. And then, yes, your no is a no right now,
Right.
just right now. But with your persistence and continuing to educate them and keeping them abreast of the things that you were doing for the veterans. Oh, you've housed X amount of veterans. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, well,
Right.
there are other people, other landlords like me that's housing veterans. It can't be that bad. There has to be something to this. And like you say, Yvette, let's meet again.
Right.
Yeah. So
Oh, let me tell you a quick story about that
sure.
meeting. This owner, he had 400 units, him and his two partners, and he had the perfect triangle, right? A banker, a contractor, and he was an attorney. So they
Mm,
had all the bases covered. So he told me no. And when he did call me back, I said, okay, well, we can meet at this restaurant that was in Hyde Park in Chicago, across the street from, I think it was a 240 unit building owned by a mom and her son, the Hannahosas. And Mr. Hannahosas, I had scheduled a meeting for him to come and drop off my checks. So when Mr. and to give him the leases of the veterans who were moving in that day in that week. So Jim was sitting there at the table, and I invited Mr. Hannah Hossa to sit next to me. So as we exchange our information, money for leases,
yes.
and introduced him to Jim, and I told Jim, turn around. That's his building right there. Jim signed that day and gave me 400 units.
Wow.
I know.
That is an amazing story. And you proved it. You proved your worth,
Yes.
and I like the way you did it. That was really smooth, by the way.
Thank you.
So that what does a typical home ownership journey look like for a veteran coming from homelessness, and how did you help guide them through that?
Oh my God, that is just the most remarkable question to ask because it takes me down so many memory lanes. And I'm going to share with you a few of the stories are in this book. This is my third edition, Veterans Buying Real Estate Guide to Home Ownership for today's market. And in this book, it has two stories in the front of two formerly homeless veterans. Oh my God. Oh, let me just tell you this story about an 80-year-old husband, Mr. Philip Baldwin, him and his wife and their adopted daughter.
Mm.
Oh, they both owned a house before they got married. He sold his house, moved in with her. And she said, well, I want to go ahead and put my daughter on the deed so that if anything ever happens, she don't have to go through the hassle. The daughter's name was put on the deed and she put them out.
Oh,
It took my breath away too. She put
wow.
out her senior mom and her husband and their adopted daughter, who was, her sister. He said, Mr. Baldwin, Marine, sat on on the stoop and he said, Yvette, I thought of thousands of ways that I could have ended her, but I had to think about Mary and Katie.
Mm.
They were a homeless senior veteran with the daughter. Where did they go? They were bounced around, never any services. They went to a friend's house of the church in one bedroom. They didn't have the best of credit at the time. But
Mhm.
the village of Park Forest called me. I was going to tell a different story, but this one is still good. I was the vice chairman of the Veterans Commission in the village of Park Forest for 5 consecutive years. And I do housing. So they contacted me about this senior couple. And as a realtor, I get to talk to owners and I get to educate them on how we're housing these veterans in our community who are unhoused, who are homeless, who are in transition. And this one owner, she said, well, Yvette, then you don't need to put the house on the MLS. Well, thank you. They get a nice three-bedroom house for 5 years. And he said, Yvette, we want to buy, but not this house.
Mhm.
So for about 2 years, we were working on building their credit, making sure he got his service connection disability rating because he never did.
Okay.
Which he does now before he bought this house. And we found a house, went under contract. And 2 weeks after we closed, his wife passed away.
Oh.
But let me tell you something. His wife was in the nursing home and we visited her on her birthday, and I whispered in her ear because I knew if they didn't get this house under this loan, that Mr. Baldwin and his daughter would be in a bad situation. And that house that was falling apart around them. And the owner of that house wanted them to buy it anyway. I said, Miss Mary, you have to hold on. The purchase of this home depends on your money too. We closed on their house and she passed away 2 weeks later. And they're still in the home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's stories like that. What realtor can manifest that? Really, another guy, he had HUD Vash, and I housed him out of homelessness in a rental unit on the city south side, and he kept telling me that I'm working on my disability. I'm working on. I said, good, keep working on it and never stop until you get it. And we would always stay in contact. Now let's work on your credit. So we're working on his credit while he's still in the apartment under HUD Vash. We're doing all of this. I was doing workshops every month for 13 consecutive years
Okay.
at the vet centers and at the VA and city colleges. And he would come. and he would get his education, and we would put his plan in place and mark off those goals. And he bought a house. Beautiful home, impeccable yard. He said, Yvette, drive by any day. I've got the best yard in the neighborhood. From HUD VASH to 100% service connection. And he purchased the house. Then he went back and got his workout certification, personal training certification.
Okay. Wow.
Exactly.
That's an amazing story. And the thing that I really like is that you assisted, especially the 80-year-old, with getting his service connection.
Yes.
And, I recently spoke with a veteran who served 23 years in the Marines and really had no clue about their VA disability, had no idea about it. And it's really sad, actually, that as the VA, that they don't speak to people concerning being connected, and that there's so limited information out here for veterans. I feel as though when you're getting ready to transition out the military, I think they start to do it now. I believe they began to do it, to talk to you about VA disability. I think that they started to do that, and actually, even myself, when I transitioned off of active duty after serving 8 years back in '99, there was no mention of it. That's really sad, and I really pray that the military, like I said, I believe they're doing it now, but if they're not, I pray that they start to do that, to help out veterans, to know that it's out there, because I don't care who you are, you're not the same person coming out as the person that went in.
That's what I tell every veteran I speak to. And when that conversation comes up, I recall one veteran, he said, nobody has ever said that to me. And you're right. It happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with me. I got a job. I'm this. I got a family. There's nothing wrong with me. Clearly, I can hear it and see it. It's like, for being in the military, we can see that.
Yes,
You couldn't have been this person before.
that's right. That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Same exact thing happened to me. I'll never forget, for me, I had a part-time job working for Brinks. And because I was part-time, me and this security guard that worked there, we would end up eating about the same period of time, not with everyone else. And so sitting there one day, and he told me he retired out the Navy, 20 years. He's like, so what's your VA disability? I'm like, what?
Right.
I'm all right. Ain't nothing wrong with me. And literally, those were my words. And that's the person that kind of started to educate me about it. And so I educate as many veterans as I can about it, to help them out. Yep.
That's what's standing between veterans and homelessness, is that connection to resources and
Absolutely.
benefits to use.
Yes. Yes. So, Yvette, tell us a little bit about Vet Mentors LLC. What services do you provide, and what impact have you seen so far?
The services that I provide in Vet Mentors LLC are educational resources via live or live like this workshops, which will discuss several topics. One from home, how a veteran can buy a home. This book here is the walkthrough of an entire 2-hour workshop that I was conducting for 13 consecutive years at the VA, the vet centers, city colleges. So Vet Mentors is an educational and resource brand. And under Vet Mentors, DBA Vet Mentors Publishing, I've got, let me pull some out from back here. I've got in a class that teaches realtors like myself how to work effectively in the homeless veteran space, from homeless to home ownership. And I've got several more, and they're on my website and on Amazon. So altogether, I'm going to have 9 in this series and more coming, because there's so much information that the public needs to know. And how is the public going to know this information if they don't read it? Because nobody is sharing this information.
Correct.
Nobody shared it with you. Nobody shared. Well, it was shared with me to go and submit a claim when I got out of the Army, but my claim was denied. But nobody, this was in 1984, but nobody said, hey, go back. And when I got the paperwork, I'm like 19 years old. I don't understand what this means. I'm still in CHA housing. And now my daddy died and my mama moved. And I got to stick with this guy who ended up beating me all the time. And now I'm homeless. So my whole thing with Vet Mentors is to educate veterans and concerned citizens, social workers, case managers, human care professionals, uh, family members, neighbors, how to work effectively with veterans in need of resources, because we have we are veterans. You know, we're set apart from civilians because we have the protection and more coverage by several governments: the federal government, the state government, the city government, and all of these agencies that are benefiting financially from these government agencies and community agencies.
Right.
So I'm here to educate you. People need to know how to connect veterans
Absolutely.
to resources.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
So, from your experience, what should realtors understand when working with veteran clients, especially in terms of VA loans and military relocation?
Oh, working with veterans with VA loans, that's the easy parts. Those are the ones who are ready. So there are misconceptions amongst this community of realtors and some lenders, you know, by thinking the VA loan is cumbersome. It takes too long. Oh, it's strict. You need an inspection. Um, just they don't understand the benefit of a VA loan. We have no PMI. No, that's an extra couple hundred every month on your mortgage. That's private mortgage insurance, because the VA is our backing. The VA gives veterans who qualify what's called a certificate of eligibility. And it's explained in this book right here. That certificate of eligibility tells that lender, hey, back off a bit because we got this veteran. So, what we're going to ask you not to do is charge them that extra money every month because we got this amount covered. That's number one. That's the no PMI.
Okay.
No down payment. Shut the front door on that one. You don't have to come up with an extra percentage, whatever it is for you, veteran, with that certificate of eligibility is a zero. No down payment. And in my case, many cases, I would negotiate the closing costs. So now my veteran is getting back, they don't have to pay closing costs. So there's no money down. Wait, first of all, there's no PMI, no money down. And I would say 9 out of 10 of my veterans have never had to pay closing costs. 9.5. 9 point, if I go back and look at all my records, it might be 100. That's my negotiation
Okay.
because we're offering you what you're asking for. Sometimes a little bit more to cover that closing cost, but it's pennies on the dollar when you're looking at the mortgage when it comes out. So, I love the VA loan. I love working with veterans and educating them about the many benefits of using the VA loan. When some realtors and lenders are trying to steer them to an FHA, oh, you got great credit, 780, 802, and woo, woo, woo. We can get you a conventional loan. For what?
Right. Exactly. For what?
You don't have the same benefits over there. Let the civilians enjoy that conventional loan for now. For now, because I have another strategy that teaches veterans how to become investors using
Okay.
that VA.
All right. So you specialize in first-time home buyers. What advice do you give veterans looking to buy their first home?
Oh, to buy what they really like. Don't
Mm,
settle. Don't settle. Go into this in love because of where you've been. And a lot of my first time buyers were homeless veterans. So I allow them to dream. And then we look at properties based on that. And they fall in love. And me too. We go to the summertime when they're having cookouts and we see each other out and about and they're like, you haven't stopped by. I said, okay, I drove by, saw your yard and different things. So they fall in love. I'll drive by and see some standing outside. I'll get out my car and we'll talk and Yvette, come on in. Let me show you what we did. So
yes, I like it.
that's
Um,
that's the joy of it.
yeah. Oh, I could imagine. Definitely. Seeing, like you said, driving by, seeing the homes, how they beautified the outside, from the point in which they took it over. And that has to be some pride there.
Yeah.
Definitely. You've earned certifications in AI like ChatGPT and Midjourney. How are you integrating these technologies into real estate education?
Oh my. That's how I came up with Vet Mentors. Well, no, that's how I came up with the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resources book series by
Mm.
my DBA, Vet Mentors Publishing. And this is one of them. So all of these ideas I have in my head, how do I get them out effectively and in a logical sense that the end user can benefit? I am an instructional designer by education. I have a master's degree. I was a corporate trainer um, for Chase, for the ICC, that's the International Code Council for construction. All so I edited, not edited, but I was one of the instructional designers on several of those books. Um, and when AI came out, I started playing around, typing in it, typing in it, typing in it. And all of my ideas started coming out in the form in which I needed them to.
Okay.
It's a book. It's a book. How did I go from housing 0 veterans to over 5,000? I need to tell that story. I need to create a path for others to be able to simply follow. It's in the book. And AI has allowed me to transform my thoughts into blown out movie productions. That's what it does. So I use it simply to educate, through storytelling, through books, through the books. I need to use it more, but this is so wonderful to me to write all these books. My goal is 100 guides for the veteran community. Have a whole series. Remember the encyclopedias?
Yes.
Yes. That's what my intention is of 22 years of knowledge in this homeless veteran space. It's an encyclopedia up in here, and I use AI to help bring that out
Okay.
in books.
So with your background in marketing and PR, what messaging or outreach tactics have you found most effective when trying to connect veterans with homeownership resources?
So I am on several platforms. I'm on TikTok. I
Okay.
love having fun and just talking to people. It's me and no shades over me. On Instagram, I'll repost. On Facebook, I have conversations with people because they've been following me since I've been on Facebook. And where else? Where else is there social media? So I get the message out that, hey, we are here. I'm here. You see me. I've been here all this time to still help you as a homeless veteran, um, as a community member, leader, as a family, as a whoever. We can
Mhm.
do this. It's not just me. Don't just keep congratulating. Oh, Yvette, yay. It's not just me. Everybody can do it. Was that your question?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yes. Like what, it was about, um, you know, what resources, connecting, have you been able to with your marketing and PR? And so you're using social media to get your message out, and that's wonderful. I like
Yeah.
that.
And I also send out constant contact messages
Okay.
every 2 weeks of updates of veterans who I have spoken to and have sent resources to, and some of them send me back, their stories of triumph now. They're housed. The resource that I sent them out of maybe, you know why I did the Chicago book? The reason I did this Chicago book is because there are so many resources in Chicago
Okay.
that there's one in Akron that I need to put out. There, what I do is teachable. I'm not trying to gatekeep. If you want to read a book, you can read a book. And the message is we can all do this. The benefits that veterans have are national,
Hmm.
state, county,
Yes.
city, and all of these organizations that receive funding to house veterans and to provide other financial services. That's the connection. That's what a lot of people don't want to sit down and learn. Oh, it's exhausting. So, no, just pick up a book now. It's so simple. And I teach you how to incorporate AI in this book so that you can dig deeper for that veteran that's sitting in front of you.
Yeah, because AI is now starting to take over, and it makes things a lot easier if you know how to, like you say, reach out to them and make things smoother for them. So yeah. So you also support investors who want to integrate veteran housing programs into their portfolios. What does that collaboration typically look like?
It's a conversation to know where you want to be with me because I don't just work with everybody.
Okay.
I have met slumlords before. So that's a no for me. So it's a conversation. I want, if you've done anything, I want to see what you've done. What are you offering? And now it's just not housing because I need you to understand as an investor that even though you might want to create, let's say, transitional housing, it needs to be transitional. Or if you want to create shared housing, let's find out what these veterans have. We don't want them in your shared housing forever just because you want to get that money every month. We want to create veterans who are able and capable and interested in becoming greater in life. using the benefits that we have provided to us as a veteran from the federal government, disability connection, education from the state, more education. I mean, healthcare. We get it all. So it's a connection. I don't want you to just have them lamping in your crib to collect a check. That's a no-no. So you work with, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to work with
Yes.
me as an investor. We're going to get your properties filled, help you learn to do that in your market through marketing. We're going to teach you how to interact with all of these entities in the community to attract the veterans to your transitional facility or home or your independent living home for veterans. But the second part of that is your program. We're going to set up a program for your facility. Everybody has to go through this program because we don't want, unless it's a home, put it this way, unless it's a home of seniors who never want to buy a house.
Okay.
Look, I love this 4 bedroom. I love my brothers up in here. We have us a good time. We go bowling on the weekends. We go to the VFW. We kick it. We go, so this is their home forever until one expires. And, that's fine. Let me know that. If that's the type of home you're going to engage. But guess what? We're still going to create a program
Okay.
because they still need things. They still need services. They still need benefits. They still need interaction. You just don't let them live up in there. You can't just have a house and not go by to check on your people.
Yeah.
So that's two things. And then, a few other things that come after that, the business setup, even before going into housing, you have to do things legally. You just can't say, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to rent the room. No, you have to do things legally. What does your city's jurisdiction say about what you're planning to do?
Mm.
So that's another thing, we walk you through and finding that out before you pay me as a consultant. Now you can pay me as a consultant to find that out. But why do that when you can just drive to your city hall and go to the buildings department and licensing and speak to a few people?
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay. Wow. I feel like we could talk about this all day long,
I know.
but unfortunately, we have to uh you have things to do, I have things to do. But before we end this, Yvette, I feel your energy. I feel it for what you do. So what keeps you motivated in this work, especially when navigating complex or emotional heavy situations with clients?
That's what keeps me motivated because if I don't do it, they're going to stay in that position until they figure it out. And sometimes they never do. Some never figure it out. It's apparent because they're still under a bridge. They're still in a park on a bench. They're still panhandling with signs. So what keeps me going is that I don't want to, if they call me, I'm going to put my best foot forward to make sure they get the information to the resources. Now it's still up to them to contact the resources. But what keeps me going is I know what it's like to be a homeless veteran, and it sucks big time. So why, with the knowledge that I have, allow another veteran to go through that? Or not share the knowledge that I have with other people to learn how to help veterans get out of that.
I like it. Well, Yvette, it has been a blast having you as our guest today. As we close out, please tell our listeners where we can learn more about you, get in touch with you, and just learn about all the fabulous things you have going on right now.
Hmm. Well, I'm on various social media platforms. Google my name, Yvette Jones Swanson. That's the best way. I found me everywhere. Right. And follow me on all social medias and hire me.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, again, I want to thank you for your time today and all the wisdom you have provided to my listeners. It's greatly appreciated. And I want to thank you, our fans, for tuning into the Syndication podcast, where we want to add value to you in your investing business. Please tune into our next episode where we will interview another fantastic real estate professional. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Service to Syndication podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate your support, and we are grateful about being a part of your journey to becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will get a lot out of what you just heard. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be in all areas of life. And if this was really valuable, share it on your social media stories and timelines. Thank you for watching and listening. Now go be great.